Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful Monday, everybody. Thanks for watching us. It is August 4th, believe it or not. It's Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann. I'm Ann. That's Kyle. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago, working for Baird & Warner in the Gold Coast office, and we love to talk about what's going on. So, it's been a couple weeks since we've been together. You're well? Everything's good?
I guess it has been a couple weeks. Time goes by so fast, especially in the summertime. I'm well. I have a new car.
Exciting. Congratulations.
I sold my humongous SUV. It's not, it was a small SUV, but
It was
not. SUV. And I bought a car that felt like my Smart, but is still an SUV. It's the tiniest Hyundai.
Okay.
SUV.
For those of you who've met Kyle in person, you'll know that she's very tall and willowy. So the thought of her in the smallest just kind of tickles me.
I test drove all these cars, including the VW Golf, and I couldn't get into it because it was so low.
Yeah.
It was way, so I was like, oh, can't. Too low. Anyway.
It's an ongoing problem, people, for real estate agents. Actually, weigh in with your comments if you like, because like I do some work with seniors, and so having a seat level that they can just ease into, not a truck you have to jump into or something sporty that's too low. So that kind of dictates what I drive. But
yeah, I kept my car for years because my senior stepfather could get into the car. Yeah. There was no other reason to keep this car, but he could get in.
Yeah. It's something we think about. And then, of course, in Chicago, parallel parking is key.
This car is easier to parallel park. It's also easier to do a U-turn, which is also for finding the parking space.
In Chicago, for sure. Yeah. I know. I think I just paid off like my 4th ticket of the year, too. You know, those come with the territory.
Parking ticket?
Oh, yeah. You know, the put on your flashers and run in and show kind of ticket.
That's why I either walk or I use a cab driver. I am too stressed out by parking. Anyway, hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. So, all right. We have a full show. Yes. So let's jump in. We have lots to talk about. First, we're going to do stats, and I've got last month's information. Then we've got the whole new Grant Park plan that was revealed. And then Kyle has an amazing conversation about why things aren't selling. We're going to look behind the scenes.
Case studies, people. You'll love that.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's flip over and do stats quick. You know, there may be a few more sales trickling in, so this may not be everything, but you'll see.
Let's get rid of our names.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay, there we go. All right, single family homes first, lakefront communities. There you can see it in pink, including Bucktown, Wicker Park, Westtown, all that good stuff. All right. Homes closed last month, 103, down from the month before, but that's typical. July is typically not the highest closing month. And you can see on the screen here, folks, that all of the dots are previous Julys. So from the standpoint of previous Julys, we're not too far off. Under contract, though, is another story. 60 versus a seasonal typical 175, 118, 105, 80, 82, 60. So much lower. Homes for sale, we're going down again. We're at 162.
Well, this is why there's so few under contract.
Yeah.
There's so few on the market.
Exactly. All right. And now, not a surprise, all-time high median sales price of $1,485,000.
Wow.
That equates to a 2-month inventory. I know when you think of our entire market area, like including Uptown and all of that, to be at a 1.485.
Good Lord.
I know. 2-month inventory is all we've got. Very much a seller's market right now. And these are numbers for year to date. In terms of volume, I think because of numbers, because of appreciation, we're up 24% in dollars.
That's appreciation, people, because it's not volume.
11%. Well, yes, but I think it's about the same in volume. In terms, no, excuse me, it's about the same in units, but because of the appreciation, yeah,
Yes, a huge jump is not like more units. It is appreciation in price.
right, right.
Good
So
Lord. Wow.
I know, right? All right, so let's look at attached, and our market's mostly attached. 961 units closed in July, and again down from the previous month, but 837 are under contract. Again, we're off the high, but not horribly below a
But
typical
see,
July.
these are the years that we are on par with. So this graph, everyone, the first couple years are the COVID, low interest rate,
Yeah.
panic, I got to get into or out of the city. And then the next 3 years or 4 years are the post-pandemic with higher interest rates and the fact and much lower volume. So we're not tremendously off that number for the unusual market we currently have, but
Right.
Wow.
And to your point, if we had 2017, 18, 19 on here, they would look more like 23, 24, 25. Yeah, absolutely right.
Well, actually, I think they would be higher. The numbers would be higher, but they'd all be steady. I mean,
No, I don't think they'd be higher. I think they'd be close to the same.
You think? Because there's so much lower inventory.
Yeah, but there was less demand then.
Right.
We had inventory in the, yeah. Okay. Everybody, I promise I'll bring that next time. I do like, I do like comparing pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. It's a much more accurate. Okay. So for sale, look how low we are. And it keeps going lower. 2.2 months of inventory is all we have. And we're the same median sales prices last month. That's why I took off the all-time high, because last month was also 460, but still that's an all-time high. So, all right. And again, this is in dollars. And you can see we're up 8% in terms of dollars, which was up 11% versus the year before that. So it's a strong market. 6.72 was Freddie Mac as of Friday interest rate. We'll see what the Fed does. And 2180 is the median rent in Chicago. Keep in mind, now we're off the Lakefront Communities group. We are now looking at the entire Chicago area. $2.76 is the median rent price per square foot. Average median. I get them. Average median. Okay. I've got a scarf issue. All right. We're not worried about that. Okay. So here it is by bedrooms, and you can see that rents are down versus last year. And this is by neighborhood, and the near north side and the near west side are the most expensive places to live. So that's it. That's my stats.
Well, those are good. Thank you so much. I love learning about this. Let's learn about Grant Park. It's so interesting what they're planning.
Well, they just revealed this, and this is the Park District plan, folks. And this shows, the basic Grant Park. And when they discuss it, they're talking about it in terms of location. So at the top right, the brown, that's the North Grant Park. And the part that's not colored in is Millennium Park. And we all know that that's good and renovated, blah, blah, blah. So as they discuss this, they talk about 5 different areas. They talk about the North Grant Park. They talk about the South Grant Park, which is the pink at the bottom left. Talk about the lakefront. And then they talk about the historic core, which includes, and that's my front yard. That's the, Grant Park, the fountain, all of that good stuff. And then the 5th one is the bonus one, which is the one I'm most excited about. And that's capping the tracks. So this morning I was out walking the dogs. I want to share with you and we'll come back to this. Mm-hmm. But this is what it looked like this morning as I was walking the dogs. I was coming back from Lollapalooza, and there's a lot of construction mess, but you can see the trains come into the city from the south side there. And
what streets are you standing on when you took that picture?
I'm on a bridge halfway between Columbus and Michigan Avenue.
On which bridge though? Balbo?
It is a pedestrian bridge. No, I'm just south of Jackson here.
Okay, just south of Jackson. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So here I am facing south, and you can see Museum Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then this way you can see the Art Institute straight ahead and the Aon building.
Oh gosh, it would be lovely to get that land back.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I know. Well, and
keep the train, but get the land back. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think it's going to really help the values of the people in the loop, because people who didn't have so great a view because they would see the trains would have this beautifully landscaped area. I think that way it'll be great. But okay, so I put the cart before the horse. Let's go back to the plan. So, and let me pull my notes. So this is the northern part. The overview was, it's a 319 acre area. And their principles in developing this plan are making the park accessible to all, sustainability, environmental responsibility, health and wellness, promoting active lifestyles, thoughtful stewardship, careful resource management, and identity, preserving Chicago's character. So 20% of Grant Park's land is dedicated to roads. I didn't realize that. I believe it too. And it closes frequently for events like NASCAR and Lollapalooza, limiting public access, which is another problem people have.
All sorts of things used to close those roads.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they call it a road diet. Okay.
I saw that. I thought that was great.
Yeah. A road diet. They want to reduce the road space, which I don't know what that's going to do to getting people through there, but, and then cap the tracks. Okay. So North Grant Park, they're going to put a new pedestrian bridge over Lakeshore Drive, have an adult fitness zone, and improve the landscaping, completely refigure Butler Field into 4 softball fields, and remove the existing band shell. Remember, that used to be the old Perillo band shell that we would...
Listen, they can throw up a band shell when they need it.
So this is what they're looking at for this area to the north, and make that a really beautiful hilly area. It's nice now, but I mean, their goal is to really... And then make it... Go ahead.
To the Riverwalk, it looks like it comes around and you can pick up some Riverwalk through to there too. Yeah.
And you can see the bridge going over.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is Butler Field now, which is where they have they have a lot of festivals in there, right? That would be, I don't know what they would do with those.
I saw these. This is the plan for Butler Field. So what's a speed table? Is it something that slows down the speed? I saw this when I went and looked at it.
I don't know.
I think it's something that makes you slow down when you cross that. Interesting.
Oh, I bet that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that there's something that makes it slow.
I'm not really excited about softball fields, but whatever.
That is such a Chicago thing, though.
16-inch softball originated in Chicago, folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Right now, nobody's using that space except for when there's like Vegandale or the Gold Coast Art Fair. So you're right. I mean, it'd be nice to see it used regularly. I totally get that. Okay. Then I'm excited about this. Yes. So the lakefront, they want to have more water taxi stops. What else do they say here?
They're putting bridges over the outer drive, so people can just get to it, and we won't have such long lights. I mean, it'll probably ease traffic too.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. Dining kiosks, because right now there's no dining over there or anything. That would be really fun. Swings and lawn steps near Shed Aquarium. Do I have that next? Yes. So look at down here. This is Museum Campus area to the south. Have this all built out. And then to your point, yes, Queen's Landing here, extended terrace steps and seating. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Okay, well, we'll get there.
That's what it looks like now.
That's what it looks like now, right? This is where I walk my dogs every day. And I have to cross Columbus Drive to get over to the fountain, blah, blah, blah. And there are beautiful rose gardens and Tiffany garden here. It's lovely now. The part to the other side of it's not so lovely, but this is one of the two plans they're talking about where they call the Congress speed table. So they would slow down here too, I guess, huh?
Yeah, they call it a flex street.
Yeah.
And I think it means that they can, I'm very, and it looks like it's all pedestrian.
I think there's a,
this is all pedestrian. The speed tables are on Columbus and Congress.
right.
But everything else.
Right. And I think that's because there is more pedestrian and bike traffic and so forth through here, right? And this is another option.
Maybe what it is I would love to speak to the architects and the designers, but they and I'd love to have them on the show. I think what it could be is that it can be pedestrian and it also can be road. I don't know.
Right, if they need it. I think you're right. I don't know how they do that, but it says Hutchinson Field transformed into flexible festival grounds. Oh, no, that's South Park. Seasonal pop-up concessions, updated formal gardens with additional trees and landscaping, and enhanced seating around Buckingham Fountain, which would be nice because right now they're crummy old. And here are the pictures of what they think it could look like.
And that's from Paris, the picture of Jardin du Luxembourg.
So if they have that look in mind, wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
We also have to put more or do something to put some shade around the fountain so that people really could sit there and luxuriate.
Well, and they use the term, and they talk about it with the capping of the trains, something about the forest.
Or shade, that's shade things that, like, I don't know what the word is, umbrellas, but not umbrellas, but yeah, shade, little places to sit where they're shaded.
Right, right. So this is the field south now, but they're talking about really making it a great field. They have drainage problems and water sits in there sometimes. If you look to the far bottom of, on the other side where it's grayed out, there's a dog park over there. Those are where the tennis courts are. You know where I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But this field just sits there and gets goose poop and nobody really uses it. So they're going to put a good drainage in there so it can be really used as, like, I don't know if schools could maybe use it for soccer or, that maybe you do like the Gold Coast Art Fair there, but they've got viewing terraces and so forth and restrooms, and it'd be nice. And this is really difficult to see, but this is the cap. They're showing what it would go over those railroad tracks. Very similar, folks, to what they have in Millennium Park. Millennium Park sits over a parking garage. And so it's, this city is built on, we have sub basements and tunnels under the city and Lower Wacker Drive. And this would be very similar, that we would just have beautiful landscaping and park over those tracks.
It would take an eyesore out. It would really, I think it would, one of the long-term goals for reinvigorating the loop is to make it also residential, make it much more mixed use, commercial, residential, all that. And this will help.
This will be outstanding.
Neighborhood, having a park.
Of course, the big question is, how are they going to fund this? It was hard enough to fund Millennium Park and Maggie Daley, but,
We're also doing all sorts of interesting stuff a little bit further north with the S-curve and the plans for Oak Street and North Avenue beaches, the whole lakefront. And this is a 40-year plan, a 50-year plan. Yeah. But, we have to plan for the future or the city will not grow. And the city needs to grow, and we need the city to grow. So we'll have to find money.
It's fabulous. I'm so excited about it.
Excellent.
Of course, yeah.
So
anyway, this is not the final. There will be another meeting about it, but I'm very excited about the progress. All right, now I am looking to see what's on our minds. What's on our minds, Kyle?
Our minds, people, is so Anne was talking about what a hot market we have with 2 months of inventory and just not enough inventory. And then you see that there are certain properties that have been on the market forever. And so I thought we'd get into and people have asked me, why has your property been on the market so long? Because I've had some that have stayed on long. And so here are the drivers of market time. And Anne, pipe in with any that aren't on this list. The first one, the primary cause, is overpricing. When you price it higher than the market says it's supposed to be priced at, you're not going to get showings and you're not going to get sales. A lot of people think, Anne mentioned that we are in a seller's market for houses right now, and that's true. And yet, if you don't price it correctly, no one's going to buy it.
Right.
So you have to sell it twice, once to the buyer and once to the bank. So
that's right. And buyers are very savvy right now. They know, with all the public information, they know what other properties have sold for. You can't put lipstick on a pig for the public these days.
And people don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right.
They'll wait. They'll be unhappy about it, but they'll wait. Second, location. If you're not in a good location, it's not going to sell people.
Well, and let me say this too, Kyle. That's exactly right. I think one of the things sellers forget, and one of the things I have to harp on, and you tell me if you feel the same way, is a condo building is like a suburban, what do you call it? Subdivision. Thank you. We're so in the city, we can't even think of the word. I can't think of the word. So you can only sell for so much if you're in a particular building, right? If you are in a building where you have those electric heat and air, and you're going to have to replace your windows, and it's rattly, and you're on a very busy street, there's only so much you're going to be able to ask for, right? And so when we talk about location, it's so much more than just, are you in the Gold Coast? Are you in Lincoln Park, right? It's what building you are, what block you are. Chicago changes block by block.
Absolutely.
That's my rant.
Property condition for the target buyer. So there are people who insist on perfection, and then there are people who insist on, I want to fix it up. So you've got to have it in the, for pricing. This all goes in, it all comes back to pricing. But if your property isn't in the condition that a buyer would expect, then it's not going to sell. Poor marketing. Stupid photos. I mean, we're gonna have examples for you to look at. We're going to do a couple of case studies, but poor marketing. I mean, just good Lord. Here's another: limited showing ability. I get it. Sometimes you have a tenant. Sometimes you work from home. But if you want to sell your home, you have to have it be available on really like 6 hours notice.
Yeah.
That's even too tough for some. I really try to never say no. I'll bend over backwards. I'll beg the buyer's agent to choose another time, but I'll do whatever it takes. You have to do that in order to get the showings that lead to offers.
Absolutely.
And then poor listing strategy. For God's sakes, no, if you're going to offer a stretch price to start, you have to have a strategy of when you'll come down so that you get the showings and you get the offers. What else do you think, Anne?
No, I think you've hit the mark here.
These are the main ones, people.
And when you're talking about marketing, you're including everything like staging, cleaning, neutralizing smells. Well, that's more listing strategy. Bad marketing is like, some of these agents don't even know like the pros and cons of the unit in the building.
Absolutely. Speaking of your smells one, I took a client to a showing, and the condo, and the agent did a great showing. I mean, it was a great showing of a condo, but the prior tenant had always used smelly candles. I don't know why they love smelly candles, but they love smelly candles. And so it was so bad that they had to repaint the whole place. And it's still
No.
months and months later, smell the smelly candle.
I've never heard of that before. I mean, I've heard, of course, about places with maybe cats that, don't use the litter box, or smokers, of course, but I've never heard about it with smelly candles. Wow.
Okay, so here's an example. 2400 Lakeview Avenue. This is the Mies van der Rohe building on the corner of Lakeview and Fullerton. It's kind of a great building. Some of the things that are a little tricky about the building are, one, doesn't have a rental cap and it's about 50% rentals. Two, it's under parking spaced in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of parking. And three, no in-unit laundry.
Right.
So
Ever.
these people, for almost 2 years, have been on the market, and the current price is $849, and it's a 2,500 square foot condo on the 25th floor, so really high up. And these are the listing photos.
Ouch.
Now, this is probably a tenant. But you can see that the bathroom has been upgraded. So
it has possibilities, sure.
It has possibilities. Kitchen, not so much. That's a 1979, 85 kitchen.
But it's all white. You could accessorize that.
Well, there's so many things one could do.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So that's 80s cornice there. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So pretty. So one of the pluses is this beautiful outdoor pool on a low floor and a patio, and it's in the shade. It's on the north side of the building. But how nice is that?
Yeah, that's lovely.
And here at the end of the listing is the floor plan. Okay.
So 2,500 square feet for $849. That's a good price. On a price per square foot basis, right?
It is, and it isn't. When you present it like this, and I'm pretty much showing, and it just basically says, here's this, bring your dreams, here's this apartment. That's the listing description. You have to come up with why somebody should pay for this condo. So this condo is, you start with the floor plan, not with the funky living room that looks like this.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I would totally agree. The floor plan comes first. And then I think you need to show what can be done with that floor plan. Everybody wants an open kitchen, which the beauty of Mies van der Rohe buildings is they're basically, everything can be opened up, right? Exactly. So.
And this is the best picture of the lake view that you get.
Right. Well, and then wasn't one of the first pictures that picture to the west where you're just looking into another building?
But folks, so this is actually a pretty picture, but do something that tells the story of the picture. Tell the story, live with views. Some of them are city views, some of them are lake views, park views. Live with views and sky. Figure out who's going to buy this. And yes, to Anne's point, so here's the kitchen. And I don't know how much of this you can open, but redesign. You have a ton of space. Redesign. Pull the kitchen forward. Get rid of put the kitchen here. Whatever it is.
Right.
Come up with how this is going to work. Listen, there are so many things that could make, and also virtually stage. Pull out all the stuff. And different stuff.
Interestingly, I haven't put hardwood floor into a unit in a long time. I was really quite taken by the price that Norma was given on putting that floor down.
Is it a high price or a fair price?
High price, yeah. Folks were talking about a 1,650 square foot 2-bedroom to put down the underlayment for regular oak flooring, right, and finish it. Pull up the old stuff, put it down. It was like $36,000 to do the flooring to meet the condo's needs.
That's also throughout in the
closets.
No,
that's throughout. But the
Yeah.
expense, and just so you know, everybody, we're talking about you have to put the right underlayment under that cork or under the floor so that the people below you don't hear every click of your high heel shoes. And trust me, you want your neighbor above to do the same for you. But that's not what she's going to do. There are some options with engineering flooring where the underlayment's built in and so forth, where you don't have that. But I'm looking at this floor plan and I'm saying that ugly carpet, and in my mind's rolling, saying, "Oh boy, if you put in hardwood floors, you're looking at a big expense." But again, if you do the engineered flooring, it wouldn't be so bad.
Also, this is a Mies van der Rohe building. They all came with parquet floors. There may be parquet under that carpet. That's wall-to-wall carpet. We don't know what's underneath that floor. But you need to tell the story so that people know what's going on.
Yes, exactly.
Our job as realtors is to have answers. So, for example, this listing also says there's a waiting list for parking. Provide the answer on where they're going to park.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Really? They don't tell you?
So that it sells. Okay.
How many buyers do you have who want to spend $850,000 and they don't know where they will park their car?
Well,
nobody.
Nobody will buy an apartment without in-unit laundry unless you have a story of why this works.
Yeah.
You have to have a story of why it works, why it's not too much of an imposition to go downstairs if you have to. Part of the problem is these buildings weren't built to have the pipes aren't there to handle suds, and so it's very tricky. So you have to have a story about how this works to be able to get a price like this. So anyway, okay, next one.
Oh, I forgot I have to.
You have one more. So here's this house on North Park Avenue. It is being offered for $5.2 million.
And has been.
And it has been for 2+ years. Let's just take, so first of all, the listing says it doesn't know when it was built. It was built in the early 2000s. And the reason I know that is I went back and looked at, first of all, you can't find any pictures, but I went back and looked at based on the sale price, and it was sold to somebody for, I think, $800,000. And then this is built. So it clearly is you can find out when something was built.
Right.
Because you want to tell the story. It's new. Part of the story is it's new. But it is also no style. It's wackadoodle. It's on a 50.
That's the technical term.
Yeah, I hate to use technical jargon with you people, but it is wackadoodle. It is on a 50 by 100 foot lot. So it's a shallow
size lot. Woo.
But it's shallow. So there's no garage. That's why the garage is in front.
But it's
so
50
it's got
feet
a little bit of a side yard. This is your yard, people. And notice all the jutting outs. I mean, it's just it's got all these things tacked onto it. It doesn't have a unified vision, but okay. And then as you come in, big room. So first of all, again, the floor plans at the back. But there's no way of telling the story of the house with this. So each of the big rooms has this turret, or I don't know, this circular appendage where that chair is. Here's the primary bath, builder quality from 2000. So this is a child's room. Here's the floor plan, and they do provide room by room, but I didn't want to walk you through the floor plan. But it's a big house. It is, I think it's like 8,700 square feet, 8,400 square feet. Huge house. And it's got this basketball net gym in it. And it seems to be some sort of extra floor with fans on it for their workout. And that's the picture of the roof. And there's a downstairs gym. So it's nice to have this is a home for people who like to work out. But so they are asking $5.2 million for a house that is on the wrong side of North Avenue. It's still technically in the Old Town neighborhood, but not the Triangle, but in the Old Town neighborhood.
Right.
Near the L, so you'll hear L sounds. There is nothing about it other than the size that says luxury. Certainly none of the way that they've decorated says luxury other than the size. And they're asking $5.2 million for this house. And it's been on the market forever. Almost.
So what are the things you would tell them to do?
Well, first of all, I wanted to tell you that the AVMs, the average valuation, algorithm valuation, whatever, the estimates are 2.5 million and 3.2 million. So the price is wrong. But
hey, let's do a piece next week on those.
Yeah,
versus what's really, we should
all
do that.
over. I just wanted to give you a sense.
No, I'm glad you did, because the public looks at that. I mean, sellers will say to us, my AVM is $1.4 million. You need to price it at $1.4 million, whatever. You know what I mean? That's a whole good topic, but interesting. And I don't think that AVM is off.
No, it's not. The next owner is going to have to do a lot, but the marketing of it and the way these people are living in it does not say luxury. And 5.2 million in Chicago is a luxury home. It should be sparkling. It should look like, oh my God, all your friends are going to be so jealous that you have this house.
Right.
There is nothing that inspires people. My guess is somebody has to sell it and doesn't want to, and so is pricing it so that it never sells.
That could be.
I've got it on the market. I'm trying to sell it. There's no other reason for this. If I were to help them, I would encourage them to price it differently. I would stage it, or I'd encourage them to stage it, because at this price point, staging makes financial sense. I would try and talk about,
what luxury home do you know today has the red brick inside, even if it is in the basement?
I don't.
None, right?
It is the basement.
Yeah, the windows are high. I'm thinking it's the English basement.
What story does this rooftop deck tell you? The grass is wrinkled. There's nothing out there. There is no view. It's winter time. What does that tell? What story does that tell somebody who might want to spend a lot of money on a house? Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't tell you a story of why you should. I mean, I love this kid. This kid is probably a lot of fun. He or she loves music. Great. But there's nothing about this room that is luxurious.
No.
There is nothing about that bathroom that is luxurious.
No.
There's this bedroom. They may sleep. This may be their bedroom. There is nothing about it that is luxurious. There's nothing about this that is luxurious. And in fact, the floors look sort of crummy. And they're not. My guess is they're not crummy. But
there's something about the photography. The wood looks almost like it's
buckled.
Right? Buckling a little bit.
But it's not. My guess is it's not. My guess is that's the trick of a light. But because they're not doing anything to make it look luxurious, it sort of looks crummy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say. Anyway, so these are things that stay on the market a long time.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Good stuff. Thanks for bringing that on. But right, in this market, if your property's not selling, there's something going on and you need to reevaluate. Everybody, thanks for watching. We went a little over today. I hope you find it's worthwhile. Please subscribe to our channels on YouTube and social. And if you have any questions about your situation, please reach out. I'm Ann. This is Kyle. We love seeing you, and we will see you soon on Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann.